For this conversation with Tim Dunphy from Home Genius, we'll encounter some of the same themes we've had for many of the other folks that are winning the Smart 50 awards this year. I'm Jim Haviland. This is Lay of the Land Weekly Impact, our Smart 50 edition. Home Genius, which has grown phenomenally in a very short period of time, really focusing on customer experience and then employee experience, both those things together, and really, making sure you stay humble as you're growing to figure out what's really most important. And I also must have an apology for Tim Dumphy. As we recorded this event, we caught his audio, but something moved in the microphones in front of his face for a lot of the recording. So, Tim, apologies, but thanks for the conversation, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you. Welcome to Lay of the Land Weekly Impact. We are doing our Smart 50 edition for 2025. I'm Jim Haviland, and we are talking to the smart business leaders that are part of the Smart 50 honorees. So, Tim, thank you so much for being here today. Tim Dumphy, tell me a little bit about Home Genius Exteriors.
Home Genius Exteriors. So we are a home remodeling company that does roofing, siding, windows, doors, attic installation, really anything on the exterior of the home. We started in 2019 out in the DC area and have expanded to 14 different office locations now, pretty much all across the northeast quadrant of the U.S.
Oh my goodness! So 19, that's not that long ago, and that's a lot of expansion. Tell me about that. How has that been so successful?
It's been really the magic that happens. We started the business and then started to grow it, and then COVID hit, right? So COVID, with COVID came some COVID tailwinds, particularly for home improvement.
Sure.
So we had some COVID tailwinds, but as we were going through that and we got into around the 2022 timeframe, we realized that we had a clear point of difference and we're delivering on customer needs by focusing on the customer. Unfortunately, the home services industry is not known for its service.
Right.
And what we were doing since the company started was focusing on delivering a different experience to the customer. And what that means is having them at the end of the project be happy and satisfied with the whole process. And it really is more than just the product, because the roof goes on, they're happy they have a roof, but they're not excited about the shingles. What they're excited about is what the experience was from when they first met Home Genius all the way until, even after the job's done. So we focus on communication, information, trust, putting the right solution in place, answering any questions, having patience with the customer. And, that's where we found the magic. And the magic is, there's no more powerful marketing than someone saying, man, I had an amazing experience.
Yeah.
If you ever get your roof done, you have to work with them.
Yeah, NPS, 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
So when that happened, that's when we decided that, it was time to scale, to take this experience that we've been able to get really, really good at, and to expand it. And so we expanded from a geographic standpoint, expanded from a marketing standpoint, opening up different channels and building out the brand. And it's been a roller coaster, rocket ship, however you want to describe it, but it's been phenomenal. Scaling a business is fun.
Right. And rising revenues will do a lot to cover mistakes that you make along the way. Are there things that you do differently if you go back? Any hard lessons learned?
So I wouldn't say hard lessons learned, but there's always, that Monday morning quarterback where your best laid plans, particularly when you're in a hyper growth phase, they change immediately. What you thought you were going to be doing in 3 months, you're wrong and you're doing something else. For us, actually this year, we were not able to hire as fast as we wanted to. So we would have grown even more this year if we were able to hire and train and get more people into the business. And that was something that we hadn't grown to the point where we had to go focus on talent acquisition. And it wasn't the plan going into the year. But as we went and we wanted to hire 20, 30, 50 people a month, we needed to go focus on talent acquisition.
Yeah, something you have to be really good at this.
So we pivoted
Right.
and went through our entire journey for new employee journey. Just like we think about customer journey, we looked at the new employee journey, how they discover us, how we show up as a brand, where we show up as a brand, and really took our marketing minds and put it on recruiting. And by 3 months later, we had more people applying to Home Genius than we ever had at any point in time.
Oh, that's fantastic. When we're coaching our clients, quite often we talk about there being the sales funnel. Everyone's familiar with the sales, but there's a talent funnel as well. And you got to figure out, when do we trigger this one? Should trigger this one. When the sales should trigger our acquisition of new talent. And what was the unlock for you on finding the right talent?
It really was making sure that we were having the right conversations with them early on, so they
Okay.
knew who we were, knew who we were looking for, and then also what the company was doing. So telling our company story so that it could be discovered. And once we did that, people noticed. They saw, they wanted to be part of what Home Genius is doing. They wanted to be part of the fastest growing, most respected home improvement company in America. And it's our vision, but it's real. And once we got that word out, then it actually became referrals, employees telling the story about the company to
That's the
people
key,
that they
right?
knew,
Yeah.
and then those people being like, I want to come on board, like I want to be part of this. And so it was really taking and focusing on the storytelling of the company to potential new employees that unlocked it.
Yeah, we look at that. We have a model for how companies grow. Early on, you might get into NPS, but that employee NPS, that internal NPS, becomes just as important because there's no other way to scale.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, so what if? Tell me what you would say about some earned wisdom that comes from all of this. Like, what would you pass on to if you could talk to Tim Dumphy 5 years ago? What would you tell him?
Yeah. So I tell them, it's always and always will be all about the people. We are in people businesses, regardless of the industry. Our customers are people. We need to care for them. Our employees are people. We need to care for them. Their families are also part of the business, and the communities we work in are filled with people. So if you focus on the people, everything will be that much easier. It's how we delivered that different experience, is focusing on the customer, focusing on that person, how they wanted to feel. We take the invitation to the home very seriously. We call it that. We're not just trying to get an appointment. We're trying to get invitation. And we put a lot of effort into making sure we show up the right way to the customer. We put a lot of time and effort into our employees, into training, into making sure they have every tool possible for success. We do a lot on mentorship, really knowing how important that employee is. Like, we don't succeed without the employee. And so
Yeah.
it's a passion point that we have. And then with the local communities, and this is probably something I would say to others that are listening there. When you take time and you take a pause to give back to the community, it pays you back tenfold, not
Yeah.
just in the emotional reward, but people see that. They see what you're doing. So we do a lot of work with Ronald McDonald House and Habitat for Humanity and roof deployment projects with Owings Corning to put roofs on veterans' homes. And the best thing about these events are how many people from Home Genius show up. Like, there's probably like 3 or 4 people that need to be there when we do these events, but we'll get the whole office to turn out. You'll have
Nice.
40 or 50 people because they want to
Yeah.
be part of it. And they want to go tell that story to
Sure.
people of what they did and how the company is giving back. And it's real and it's genuine. And that type of thing is, it's so powerful. We're able to tell those stories in the home. Why would you want to work with us? Well, let's show you what we're doing and how we're taking care of people. It works.
It's the why, right? That
Yeah.
it's the why we do it that makes a difference, because anyone could put a window in, but
That is true.
but you wouldn't want them to necessarily. So, what as you come along, what kind of mentors have you had? Where have you learned your lessons?
It's really a lot of leadership lessons. I've, throughout my career, I've seen some great leaders, and I've also seen some not great leaders. And so sometimes you learn just as much from working with or around a not great leader as you do from, those strong leaders. And so I've been blessed with, a lot of experiences. And, I would say, a leader with humility is extremely important,
Yeah.
particularly as you get into larger organizations. There is, a situation where you will have a leader that thinks they know everything. And once that starts to happen, that's when, it becomes, the company kind of loses its way.
Yeah.
It becomes problematic. But when you're in an environment where the leaders know that don't know everything, and they trust and empower their people
Yes.
to lead, those are the organizations that just, they start to do what people didn't think was possible, because you empower your people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a psychological test that was set of tests that were done called the Dunning-Kruger curve. Have you seen this? Where when we know just a little bit about anything, we think we're above average at that thing. And I tell all my leaders that are my clients is, there's nothing about leadership that is organic, that is automatic. Humility is the only place, because you're going to have to learn new things. And at every stage of your business, there's new things to learn.
Always learning. You never stop learning. If you stop learning, I don't know what that's like. It's never happened in my career. You're
There you
always
go.
learning. I'm learning from this conversation here, right?
Brilliant.
Being in the building, and then always be teaching. So that's another piece that sometimes people forget about, particularly as you're in a leadership position. You have an obligation to always be teaching, always be sharing, always be explaining. It takes that extra minute to provide some additional perspective, and that will pay back.
The way we talk about it in our practice is that we have to be leaders, building leaders, building leaders.
Absolutely.
Yes, and that's how we make sure that we have someone to delegate to and someone to take over, and we can focus on the higher level things as we're able to. So, who do you have To thank for this award for being recognized.
It's interesting. I had the question of, oh, congratulations on winning the award. I'm like, I know that my name is on it, but it's really the team's award. The team has done the work. I just had the pleasure of bringing them together and pointing them in the right direction. But I owe all my thanks to the team. I owe thanks to the leadership at Home Genius Exteriors. Probably the best executive leadership team I've ever been on. High character individuals that just want to do the right thing for the people, and that's why they get up in the morning. It just creates this magical environment where excited to go to work, excited to do things, excited to do hard things, and love going to battle with this team.
Well, the thing I really find remarkable about what you've shared today is that these might be described as soft skills in some environments, especially in construction and all those home services people that we don't necessarily like, because for them it's just how long is a nail, and is it going to, am I done? But you're really focused on the reality that we're living in a very human environment, and you have to deliver a human experience to both your employees and your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key. People want to feel a certain way. They want to feel like a genius when they make a decision, right? So they want to feel confident in their decision. They want to know that they did the right thing, whether it be doing a project or taking on a new job. It's really important to understand what we're in the business of delivering, and we want people to be excited and really just happy. If you can create an environment where people are happy, they love what they do, they love who they work with, right, and make that sustainable, there's really no stop of where you can go.
We teach our clients that if you want a whole team of A players, you got to have everyone doing something they're great at and they love to do, right? And that changes over time, but that's the key. That's what being an A player looks like. I love what I'm doing. I'm great at it. And that isn't just a matter of just finding them. You've got to actually create that environment where that can happen.
100% agree.
Great. So anyone we should give a shout out to before we finish up today?
Like I said, I'd like to give a shout out to the team, and in particular to Victoria Ogryzik, who brought this opportunity to me and has been a champion for Home Genius, where there could be no one better to tell the story. So very much appreciate her and all the effort she puts in.
Well, Tim, congratulations. Thanks for the time today.
Thank you.